Hey folks, welcome! My name is Kurt, aka the Vitruvian Gamer. And it's time for a new playthrough. And well, previous one was a heavy theme, so let's take it a little bit lighter and let's go Pursuit the Happiness. In Pursuit of Happiness, a game by David Shirkop and Adrian Abila, with also help apparently from Vangelis. I think it's the artist Vangelis Bagiartakis. Alright, and this was published by Artipia Games, and I believe soon it also will be published in the States by Stronghold Games. Alright, so what is this game all about? So let's go to the game board first. Well, in this game you are, living your life in the pursuit of happiness. So the game, you start as a kid or as a teenager, and you will grow and to become an adult and grow old, and then at the end, sadly enough, you pass away, leaving a legacy, hopefully, or maybe not, but most important, having had a happy life with nice projects, great things you did, items you bought, jobs you had, relationships you had as well. Alright, so this is a worker placement game which plays in, X number of rounds depending on how fast you get stressed out too much. So as you can see, you start as a teen, that's the small wooden piece over there, and you will be adult for a while, and then you grow old, and in the end the stress of life on this stress track will be too much, and as soon as we pass this -3 here, we go off the board. That's the end of us. Then the inevitable has happened and we pass away. Now let's talk about setup first before we continue the gameplay, and let's go and see how what we did to set this game up. And for that we go back to this game board. So what happens when you set up the game? Well, first of all, you have these 4 different kinds of cards here on the left side. You just shuffle these. You have projects, you have items and activities, you have jobs, and you have partners. Now the partners, they are double-sided, so you have this card here to put on top of the stack. The same thing for the jobs. So you have this job card that you put on top of it, and in the future you will draw from the bottom of the deck. These other 2 stacks are only one facing, so you can just put them face down next to their colored area here. Alright, what else did we do? Well, as I already mentioned, we put this marker here on the teen spot. We also have these worker placement spaces here where we can do stuff. But at the beginning of the game, when you are a teenager, you have these tokens here to put on these 3 action spaces, so you cannot get a job yet. It's child labor, it's forbidden. Also, develop a relationship. Well, in your teens, you mostly cannot call it a relationship, of course. And you cannot do overtime as well. To do more, you are too busy studying and growing up and doing shenanigans. You also have this stress track that I already mentioned. You put a cube of your color on this piece here in the blue square here with the small arrows here, and another wooden piece on the short-term happiness meter here in the middle, so it's at 0 at this moment. You also have this little bigger wooden block here you put on the score track. Now scoring, you score points, but those are called long-term happiness, and that's of course is the goal of this game, to get as much long-term happiness as you possibly can. Alright, what else? So that's the only thing to set up at the beginning of the game. You have all these tokens at the right side. I'll do this like this a little bit. So you have 3 different kinds of tokens. I'll talk about them later. You have some money as well. You have a bunch of black cubes. Also, you'll see what happens there. Now, each player, of course, has chosen a color, and he gets 6 of these hourglass markers of his or her color. and 3 more to put aside. You can get more of them later with certain actions. Alright, that's set up. Now, what's the next thing to do? Well, you of course are not a teenager from birth. No, you have been born, and you have been born with some, well, traits, when you were born, and that's this stack of cards for. So normally each player draws 2 of these cards, choose 1 to keep, and well, that says what stuff you start and gives you a small special ability. Now I'm not going to take 2 and choose 1. I'm just going to take 1 random because of course we don't know what's going to happen anyway. So let's take 1 at random and let's see. So this is a child trait. So as a child I was a nerd. Alright, and so that gives me a special ability whenever I do the study action, and that's one thing on the board that I will explain later. I get 1 more knowledge, which is can be useful. I also it says what starting resources you get. So I get 4 knowledge, 3, oh my god, I forgot, 3 creativity, that's it, and also 3 influence tokens. So I'll put that in front of me here. So that's, well, my first thing in life. I was a nerd as a kid, and I get 4 of these books here, these knowledge tokens. I get 3 of these light bulbs, creativity, and also 3 of these influence tokens. So that's what I started with. I could have gotten money if I had another thing, but in this case I don't have any money to start with. Next thing is, well, we need a life goal. We want to achieve some things in life. Now, in a normal game, there are some in the middle. I think the number of players, that many, and well, they are open on the board and each player tries to reach them. The player who reached it the best, he gets bonus points. In a solo game, that's the difference. You take 3 at random, and let's take 3. You just put them somewhere near the board, and as you can see, normally one of the life goals was to be a hoarder, buy the most items, and the one that had the most items gets 1 point per item with a maximum of 5. Now, a solo game is different. All these cards have a solo game goal to reach. I have to buy at least 5 items. The goal of a solo game, very simple. We have to achieve all these 3 life goals, the solo part of it anyway, and have at least 50 long-term happiness. So what are we going to try to do? We're going to try to hoard by at least 5 items. We want to have a fulfilled life. We want to get everything mentioned above. So we want to have at least 2 items, 2 activities, and completed 2 basic projects. We want to have a job, a partner, in a relationship, or a higher level. So we just want a little bit of everything. Nice. Or not, maybe, we'll see. And when we want to, well, we can take it with you. So I want to be buried with all my money. So at the end of the game, as when I die, I want to have at least 8 bucks in my stack. Alright, so that's something I have to time. That can be a little bit tough. So we'll put them somewhere aside where we can see them every time we want. That's our life goals. Now, I'm also playing with the some of the expansions that came with the Kickstarter version. So, not sure how everything looks in other versions. So this was this board and a box and stuff like that. I bought them at Spiel Essen 2015. There were only 300 copies then for sale. and after that it went on Kickstarter, and they changed a bunch of cards, which they sent the new ones. They also managed to do some small mini expansions. I'm playing with a few of them. The only one I'm not using is the Trends expansion. The Trends expansion gives you, well, more things. It's like a trend during your lifetime, what is popular at that time, culture, arts, or whatever. And if you have done things of that kind of thing here, you get bonus points. I'm not going to use this one. It's one more thing to track, and it might, if I'm lucky, it might give me too much bonus points to make it an exciting game. I'm not sure, but I didn't feel like using this at this time. What am I using? Well, there is a pets expansion, so there will be pets in the item and activity deck. We'll see them when they arrive. And I'm also going to use the event cards. Now, this happens only in adult life, so not in at this moment yet. These will be things that happen, and we can, well, there are good things and bad things. Good things we are trying to achieve. They have a requisite to trigger, and bad things we are going to try to prevent. So those are things that might happen in the future. We'll see when it happens, of course. Now, let's start playing and stop mumbling and humbling and setting up the game. Let's get things done. What everything does, I'll explain as we go. But first we need, of course, well, we want things to do, things to buy, and things to achieve. Now, we're teenagers, we're not going to get a relationship, so we will not have cards here, no partners here. We will not have jobs to take yet, we're too young. But of course we will take items and activities. Now we are going to look at the board. There are these symbols here. This is only for a 4-player game, as you can see. So we are just going to draw cards and put them on the board according to the number of players. And in a solo player game, you use the numbers of a 2-player game, actually. So that means we get to draw 3 projects, and I'll explain what they do. So we can design clothes, we can do yoga, and we also can learn how to dance. So that's some stuff we can do. Then we have some items, activities, whatever, so we can buy some jewelry if we like, which is a strange thing to have as a hobby when you're that young. We can get an exotic pet if we like, which of course is a little bit more normal, although that kind of pet, I'm not sure if it still exists. Oh, and look at this, a comic book collection. We are trying to hoard stuff. This might be cool to have. So we'll see. That's something we can buy. Pretty cool. And well, that's the beginning of the round. So then we go, after we do this, we have an upkeep phase. In an upkeep phase, we are going to do all kinds of stuff. I'm not going to tell you which they are because it depends on, well, we are young, we don't have anything to have an upkeep of. I'll talk about them shortly. We advance the round marker. We don't have to do that in the first round, of course. It's already on the teenager spot. We would discard everything that's still on the board here of the cards and put down new ones. We would gain or lose hourglass markers according to our stress. So as you can see, if you have less stress, you might get more of these hourglass markers. If you have more stress, you are going to have less than 6. Of course, beginning of the game, we have 6. That's it. Then we count the total number of active projects, jobs and partners in front of us. So if we have more than 3, we would gain 1 stress for each card above 3. If we have more than 1 partner, we would gain 1 stress for each partner over beyond the first, of course. And then we have to pay upkeep costs and gain rewards. So some things, jobs, relationships, some items maybe, you have to do some upkeep for them, and it might cost time, money or whatever, and well, to maintain them, of course. Okay, that's it. So let's start without further ado. So if we want to buy something, we will need money. And so let's go to the board. Let's see what we can do at this moment. So let's go to the action spaces. Alright, so these are the action spaces. Now at this moment there are not that many available, just a few of them because we have blocked these 3. So what can we do? So this is a worker placement. We can use these hourglass markers and put it on one of the spaces there. Now what does that do? We can study, for example, and that gives us 3 knowledge tokens. Of course, in this game we get one more because we were or are a nerd. We get one more token if we do that action. We could play, that gives us 3 I always forget what is creativity tokens, and we can interact, and that gives us 3 influence tokens. Alright, so we can also take a project, and to take a project means we can get one of the cards, the blue cards, on the board and do whatever it says. We can spend money or whatever to get one of the items, pets or whatever, or we can take a temporary job and get 3 money for it. Now, later we can get a job or develop a relationship. That's not what we're going to do. One thing we can do is rest. Rest, well, very simple. That brings stress down for 2 spaces. But very important to know, if you rest, you cannot ever go beyond the last space of the same color. So if I should rest now, I stay where I am because I cannot go to the other color. If I was here with my stress, I could rest and get 2 back. If I was here and rest, then I would only get back 1 space. I cannot pass this here. Very important to remember. Okay, now there are more actions later that you can do because you will be able to do actions on the cards you obtained. So, but now we can only do this, so let's start doing these actions. And I think I'm going to start by taking a temporary job. I did not have any money, I didn't get any allowance of my parents apparently. But I'm going to take a temporary job. It's the right thing to do, folks. And I'm going to take 3 money. Okay, and then it's time that we do some interesting stuff. So next action that I'm going to do is spend some money and I'm going to buy something. Well, and there are 3 things here that I can buy. We have some jewelry, some exotic pets and a comic book collection. Well, it's a little bit thematic, of course. Let's buy a comic book collection. Now, so I can buy this if I want to, and I want to indeed. So let's see. Now, you can see different kinds of spaces. So you can buy a shelf for your comic book collection, or a shelf filled with comics. You can also have a complete wall filled with comics or a room filled with comic books. Now, this is the cost that, so it costs 2 for a shelf, 4 for a wall and 6 for a room. Now we also have these left things here. So that means if there is something written here, that it has an upkeep. So to have to maintain your wall of comic books, you'll have to pay $2 every round, every upkeep phase. It gives you 2 creativity because you can read lots of comic books. It makes you creative, but you have to remember that you have to pay money. If you don't, you lose the comic book collection, and you lose some. You gain stress, of course. You don't want to lose your collection, and you also get a bit sad as well. Now, you can also upgrade it later. So if I buy a shelf now, I could always upgrade it to a wall or to a room by paying the cost again here for one of those other levels. And when you buy a level, so in this case I'm going to buy a shelf of comic books, you also get a reward, and in this case the reward is 4 creativity and 1 short-term happiness. So what I'm doing is I'm paying $2 that I got from my temporary job. I put the card in my tableau, so the nerd with the comic book collection. Yes, very realistic indeed. So I bought a shelf of comic books. Now, how do I know it's a shelf and not a wall or a room? That's these black cubes for, so I'm going to put the black cube on the level 1 space here, so to indicate I have a level 1 comic book collection, a shelf of comic books. Now, I also get the reward, which is 4 creativity, so I'm going to take 5 here and give 1 of 1 back to the supply, so that's that. And I also get 1 short-term happiness, which is right over here, so I'm going to advance this 1 by 1. Now, short-term happiness, what is that all about? Well, short-term happiness, and it has it written on this handy-dandy reference sheet. It determines the next round's first player, so in a multiplayer game, the one with the highest short-term happiness at the end of a round will become next first player. When it is a tie, it's the player closest to the current starting player that is one of the higher ones. So, then, when I take or advance a project, I can pay pay more or less resources depending on okay, so I'm sorry. So when you get a project, if your happiness is positive, you can pay 1 less or more. If I'm at +1, I can pay 1 less with two less of the resources needed. If I am unhappy, well, I have to pay more. I can always lose 1 short-term happiness and refresh 1 of the 4 rows on the board to get rid of the cards and get all new cards there if there's nothing interesting there. But for now we have 1 short-term happiness, which might be interesting for my next action, which is taking a project. So another hourglass marker, going to put it on the blue spot, take project. And you see this symbol here, it's also the symbol that's on the board underneath the project. So let's see what's available there. Okay, so at this moment there's only 1 type of project on the board, and that's the basic projects. You also have 1 round projects and you have group projects. Now I'll show you them when they get there. So we have normal projects here, and I guess we just do 1 of them. We need 2 basic projects, by the way, for our fulfilled live goal here. So we need to have completed 2 basic projects, so we better get started on that one. Now, I just gotten a bunch of creativity tokens, so let's put them to good use. So I'm going to learn how to dance. So again, let's see what happens with this card. Okay, so we of course put them in our tableau. We have a project now, and well, it's different as with the items here, so we can buy any level we want if we have the money or if we want to spend that kind of money. A project or a basic project, of course, if you're learning to dance, you're not going to the samba first. No, you start at level 1. So you put a cube on the project on level 1. You pay whatever it costs, so I need some creativity to do some dancing, to learn, well, to dance with these 2 left feet that I have. I pay 1 creativity to the supply. I also gain 1 short-term happiness. But remember, we have 1 short-term happiness, so I can pay 1 less for a project. So I don't have to pay this creativity at all. That means we just put the card there and we gain 1 more short-term happiness. Let's see there. We have 2 short-term happiness now. We are pretty happy. We are a nerd. We have our comic book collection. It's not huge, but it is nice. And now, at least we get a chance to dance with a girl, although we still have 2 left feet. Alright, back to the board. Let's see what our 4th action of this round is. And this is a moment in time where other rules are put into play. Because, of course, you might say, well, just take another project. And I might do that. I am absolutely allowed to do so. By the way, I forgot 1 thing. I had to refresh the things I bought. So there's also a hamster now that I can buy, a cute hamster, and another project It's a motorcycle gang. I can join a motorcycle gang if I want to. Alright, sorry about that, I almost forgot. So back to the board here. So I could try to join or start up a motorcycle gang, and I could take another project. Absolutely legal, but if you take an action on the board that you already did, you pay or you get 1 stress. And I'm not sure if I want to do that already. So maybe I will later in this round, we'll see. But first of all, let's do something else that we can do. And to do that, we go back to our cards here, to our tableau. So we are learning to dance. Now we can choose to activate that card and learn to dance even better. So we can use one of our hourglasses and put it on the card here as an action. And well, we can learn how to swing. That means this goes to level 2. We should pay 3 of those creativity tokens, but I have 2 short-term happiness, so I only have to pay 1. So we'll do that, pay 1, and now we can swing already. I'm a fast learner, and we get our reward, 2 influence tokens. That's these things here. And also 1 point on the board of long-term happiness. That's what the blue star means. Alright, that's that. Now, what else are we going to do now? We're going back to these spaces here. I'm going to do something, it's a small risk, but not that much. So I'm going to use one more time the temporary job action. So I'm going to take another temporary job. It is stressful, so if we go back to the stress track, so I get 1 more stress, so I put it 1 space to the right, and I also get 3 more dollars or money tokens here that I can use later. So I'm at 4 money. I'm not going to spend it yet. I'm not going to buy myself a pet or something at this moment. So I will, for my last action, I'm going to rest. I'm going to rest, and that puts me 2 spaces back. But as I already told you, I cannot go to another colored space, so I'm going to go 1 space back there. All right. So that's my 6 actions. So now let's see what happens. Alright, so we do have the end of the round phase, and I think, yes, there is a card that says what happens. So, group projects, we would gain additional rewards from group projects. Well, we did not do any group projects, so that's no problem. If we had a single round project, we didn't, then we would set it aside. And, well, that counts to the number of projects we did at the end of the game. We take back our hourglass markers, so we take back all those blue stuff here. Oh, the blue hourglasses. Alright. And we determine the next round's first player. Well, I'm first player, always. And then we reset all short happiness indicators, so we go back to 0 here. Alright, now we are at the end of the first round, so that also means we are going to remove all these unavailable action tokens. That goes away for now. Next round we can do all the other things. And well, we are not at the end of the 5th round at this moment, of course, but then some things will be unavailable again. Alright, that's the end of the first round. So that means we go to the next one, and let's go do that again pretty soon. So that means we're going to the upkeep phase. We do the advancing of the marker here. That means we're at the beginning of an adult phase here, and now it's time for one of the events. So we draw the top event, we turn around, and it's a green one, so it's an opportunity, so something we can ensure to get. And there are some sales. So no, not this round, but next round. So this is something that's going to happen in the next round. Very important. So items and activities will maybe cost 1 less to buy, still a minimum of 1. When we do not get any stress if we use the spend action more than once next round. To ensure getting the sales, we may not use the spent action this new round. So if we don't use this action this round, there are some sales afterwards. We have to be patient. There are nice things for sale perhaps now, but we might want to wait, so it might be cheaper. Alright, so that's the event. Then, next, we discard all cards from the board and draw new ones. Alright, so that means the things we didn't buy, those go away. No jewelry, no exotic pets. Also, the... oh crap. The items of the project that we didn't do, I'm messing this up. They're hard to get. Alright, there we go. They are discarded and we get new cards. I'll put the board back the way it should be. Damn, that was not good. Alright, so we get 3 new projects. Take a good look at it. So I'm going to let you choose what we'll do next. So we can develop a secret recipe, and that would cost us 1 of these tokens here. Ah man, these creativity tokens gives us 1 short-term happiness, and that is a basic project, as you can see, which we can develop. This is a group project, a restaurant. Now, groups projects, let me try to explain this pretty quick. Now, I think these are less powerful than in a solo game, I think, but when you take a group project, you get to choose, well, this starting up a restaurant, you get to choose one of these jobs here. So you can be a manager, a chef, a waiter, or a greeter. You have to pay whatever it says in the front, and the writing is your reward. Now, you can get up to 2 positions in this restaurant, so later as an action, and that doesn't count as a second take project action. You can put one of these markers right on top of another one of these jobs there. You have to pay again, of course, and then you get a reward on the right. At the end of a round, you also get the reward that's below here for the number of players that have joined this group project. So normally other players can join this project as well. Now, for each time you take one of the jobs here, you get the bonus. So if I have 1 worker here, 1 player only, I get $2 as an extra bonus. If there are 2 on this, I would get, for each one on this card, I would gain $2 and a point. So in total, $4 and 2 points. So that's the restaurant. And the next thing what we can do is some model making. Again, pretty thematic. So this is another basic project that we can do. Making some models. It costs some creativity and it gives us some knowledge and happiness and long-term happiness as well. What else we can buy? Or we can, it's a first activity, so we can go skiing. It works the same as an item, so you have to pay and you get the reward. You can pay, you can go skiing for a day, it costs 2, and you put it in front of you. Later you can go on a weekend or on a holiday. You can see that costs an extra time if you want to go on a holiday, and it also costs 5 money. But you can also choose to take a higher level immediately, gain reward. You can never go on a lower level or on the same level. You always have to take, next time you do this action, you have to take a higher level. So if you go on holiday after that, you've done what you wanted. You cannot do anything higher. For skiing, you can go off-roading as well. Very simple. It's 1 time that you can do it. Level 1 only for 2 money. And we can get a stamp collection. As you can see, it costs 2 for level 1. You can buy level 2 or level 6, $4 or $6. But these other 2 have an upkeep of 3 or 6. But this one gives you knowledge in the upkeep phase, and this one gives you 2 points in the upkeep phase. So that's the third thing. Now for some new stuff, we have some jobs. Now only 2 will be available because this is for a 3-player or a 4-player space. So let's take 2 jobs. First we have the illustrator, which is an art job. Well, if we get this job, we need 4 influence. We have to pay 4 creativity, and later, well, we immediately get 6 money. But later we have to have an upkeep, of course. We need to put time in the job and more creativity, and then we have a salary of $6. Later we could get promoted to a level 2 or level 3 job in the arts direction. As you can see, this is a level 1 job here. Or we can be a musician, we can use the other side. All the stats are the same, but well, let me know which one, if we take this one, which one I should take. We have another option as a job, a second one, and we might become a teacher. So, it's a social job this time. We need 1 knowledge, 3 influence. We get paid 6, and we need to pay upkeep next round 1 time, 1 knowledge and 1 influence to gain to $6. Or we can be a civil servant with the same stats. Alright, so for you to choose if we take one of these. Also, we can get a partner. Now, you can choose male or female. I'll play with the female partners because I'm a guy, I'm straight. I don't mind. You can choose whatever you want. So, relationships, they work as a project actually, because you have to start at level 1 with a date. It's free, it has no cost, and you get 3 knowledge. She's a smart one, this one. You can have intellectual conversations with Jamie. Or if you prefer Jimmy, you can choose to date Jimmy. Later on, we can develop this. If we have at least a level 1 job or a higher job, we can, well, she wants someone that is smart, has a job. We can upgrade this to a relationship, which of course has an upkeep of time in the future. And remember, we need a job at the end of the game, and also a relationship at least, or higher. So later we can also raise a family. It costs even more time, it's more expensive, and she has some requisites as well. So Jamie is one of the possible partners we could take. Or we have Robin. And Robin, well, she's also smart and creative because we can talk to her. She's a little bit more creative than Jamie. But she thinks, well, she wants someone with lots of influence, as you can see. So to develop a relationship, we need at least 5 influence. Or you can choose Robert if you want, but let's take Robin for this game. Alright, that's that. Next thing that we'll do is we'll count the total number of active projects, and we might gain stress of that. But we only have 1 project to learn to dance project, so that's safe, no stress here. And we could, if we had some things that cost upkeep, we would pay it and we could get the rewards of it. I don't have any upkeep either. So that's the start of round 2, the upkeep. Alright, so let's go check what we have. So we have 6 workers, well, 6 time units, as you can say. We have 4 money. I have 4 knowledge. We have 5 influence and 6 creativity. We are learning to dance. Let's get a little bit closer. This is something we could develop. At the end of the game, we need to have done 2 complete basic projects till the end. We have a comic book collection that we might be able to upgrade. We don't need to, but we can. And when we study, we get +1 knowledge. So that's it. I'm going to let you choose together with me what our actions will be in round 2, the first round of adulthood. Remember, next round there are sales, so if we don't buy anything this round, then we get sales the next one. Okay, so that's it for now, people. I think this is a long video, I'm sorry about that. I just wanted to explain everything of this game so we can play together the next rounds. So please feel free to, well, to give suggestions on which actions to do next round. Feel free just to comment if you played this game already, what do you think of it, are you interested in this game, whatever. Tell me what you think, just talk to me if you want. Feel free to subscribe if you're not already subscribed to this channel. And watch other videos of mine if you like. If you can't restrain yourself from giving a thumbs up, please do so. I always appreciate that. And well, I invite you for the next part pretty soon. And that will be one with your suggestions, I hope. Thanks for watching, people, and I see you all in the future in our pursuit of happiness. Bye bye.